give me a happy marriage. That prayer cannot be answered. I'm not cursing anybody. The prayer can only be answered when you have done what you should do. God will not do. You can't ask God in prayer to do what He has already commanded you to do. And we're going to be reading a very interesting portion of the Bible in Luke chapter 14, verse 16 to 24. Luke 14, 16 to 24. Help me welcome your neighbor with a smile. Say, neighbor, you are welcome to this service. Luke chapter 14, from verse 16 to 24. I'll be speaking on what I titled, Comfort Zone is a Dangerous Zone. Everybody say, comfort zone is a dangerous zone. Then he said to him, a certain man gave a great supper and invited many. Everybody say many. And sent his servant at supper time to say to those who were invited, come, for all things are now ready. Everybody say ready. Verse 18, but they all with one accord, that's a conspiracy. Nobody objected. They all with one accord began to make excuses. The first said to him, I have bought a piece of land, a piece of ground, and I must go and see it. I ask you to have me excused. You pay for a land you have not seen. He said, I have paid for a piece of land. Can we go to verse 18, please? Verse 18. The beginning of, but they all with one accord began to make excuses. The first said to him, I have bought a piece of ground. Let's go. And I must go and see it. Who pays for the land they have not seen? This is just excuse. This is not genuine. I thought you should see it before paying. You know, when people want to give excuse, they even lie. You can't be an expert in giving excuse and not become a liar. This is a lie. Look at the next person. Another said, I have bought 5 yokes of oxen, and I'm going to test them. I ask you to have me excused. It's like you bought a car, you did not even test it. Who pays for a car that has not been tested? After you have paid, you want to test the car. It's a lie. Everybody say it's a lie. People test the car, then they pay. But this liar said, because he doesn't want to go, it was an excuse. Still another said, I have married a wife, therefore I cannot go. Does he go to work? Does he still go to work? Because he's talking as if marrying a wife makes you totally incapacitated. As if once you are married, you retire from every other thing. He said, I've married a wife, therefore I cannot come. So that servant came and reported these things to his master. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, go out quickly into the streets and lane of the city and bring in here the poor, the maimed, and the lame and the blind, just anybody. And the servant said, Master, it is done as you what? As you commanded. And still there is what? Still, they said there is room. That means if they change their mind, I can still forgive them. Verse 23, then the master said to the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in. Said these ones now, they may not be qualified for the first invitation, but since those who are invited are giving excuse, let these people who are not qualified come in, that my house may be what? may be filled. Verse 24, which is the last one. For I say to you that none of those men who were invited shall taste my supper. May the Lord bless the reading of his word. I'd like you to say comfort zone is a dangerous zone. You know, every one of us, we have our comfort zones. The other man who just married, his marriage was his comfort zone. And sometimes when people are married, sometimes they retire into their comfort zone. Mostly women, some men too do it. Because if a woman retires after marriage, she has someone to take up all her responsibility. So a comfort zone is one zone that we all have. It's either you settle there or you refuse to settle there. There are people who get married and the next day they are at work. There are people who get married and after honeymoon they are back at work. But this one, even after honeymoon, he said, I cannot. This one bought a land and settled as a landowner. He said, because I've bought a land, I need to go and see the land. When I was trying to title this message, one of the topics that came to my mind is the seductive power of comfort zone. The seductive power. You see, our comfort zone deceives us most of the time. Our comfort zone lies to us. Your comfort zone can be that you like to come to a church where you just sit down and receive the word and go home. It's very comfortable to do that. You don't want to be bothered by anything that goes on, activities in the church. That can be a comfort zone. You just want to say, Shadua King Shami. That is, say the prayer, then I say amen. That's very comfortable. But before you came this morning, some people cleaned the chair you are seated on. They chose to ignore their own comfort zone. Some people came to put all the things that is running here. I like the wisdom pill for this week. If you see anything working, some people are working it. Those who are working it have decided to stay away from their comfort zone. And those who are enjoying it and not being part of it, they have just decided they have been deceived by their comfort zone. So I called it the seduction power of comfort zone. If all of us are fish, let's assume, it's an assumption, we are not fish, and we are inside the river or we are inside the sea. You know, we're moving around. All of us will be looking for food to eat. Am I correct? All the fish, they move around looking for what to eat. I don't want to say if we are fish. I would say if all of us are shark. That's what I would prefer. Or whale, those big ones. You know, the big fish feeds on the small fish. The food for the big fish are the small fish. So if all of us are whales or shark, we'll be moving around the sea. All we're looking for is to get a prey to feed ourselves and sustain ourselves. So that means we have to leave our comfort zones and move around. It's not comfortable to be moving around looking for what to eat. Most of the things we eat, they don't wait for us. They also run for us. Am I correct? Because the small fish you want to eat does not want to be eaten. So the small fish too is smart, is running, is watching. So the moment we appear, the small fish too try to run or hide. So for every day we eat, we leave our comfort zone, we inconvenience ourselves, we discomfort ourselves just to be able to survive. Am I correct? But if you see a fish, a small fish who is not going anywhere, you move close to the fish waits for you. You are closer, it's not running anywhere. Please run for such fish. Run for what? Run for such fish. Because normally that fish is supposed to run and make and give you some exercise to do. And make you discomfort yourself. But in the case where the fish is not running, he waits for you. If you're a wise fish, you run for that fish. Because that could be a trap. Every fish that hangs in the sea, not going anywhere, they are on a hook. They call it hook. Somebody is out there holding the end of the hook, waiting for a foolish fish and a stupid fish who will eat it. Then as soon as he hits it, you know how the hook works. It keys into the throat. Then they drag him out. Then they just caught a free food that was actually a trap. So I said this when I thought about that many years ago, that most free food are traps. If your uncle say, don't walk, just be coming to my house. Anytime you're hungry, come and eat in my house. It's a trap. He's doing it out of love. He loves you. He doesn't want you to suffer. He wants you to be very comfortable. But such food can block your brain. You will stop thinking about how to fend for your own. So when you see free food, when you see comfort zone, run. I will say I will run. Many gifted, talented, well-connected people have become victims of their own comfort zones. They've been trapped into what looks safe. Is it not safe to go to my uncle's house and eat free food? Is it not safe to give excuse and say, the reason why I'm not doing so much is because Nigeria is not a good country? Excuses makes failure comfortable. One of the work of excuses is to make you comfortable in failure. In fact, you'll be growing tummy inside failure. You'll be looking robust. Because all the justifiable reason why you are not the reason for your failure has been given already. I will have been a powerful Christian, but I'm not from a Christian family. You have just told us that you have justified you're not being a good Christian. I would have been a very powerful businessman if my business was situated in New York City. New York City. Say, don't you know how comfortable it will look if my company is called so Limited, New York City. Ladies and gentlemen, there are failures on the street of New York. There are beggars on the street of New York. The richest black man in the world is from Nigeria. They call him Dangote. It will shock you. He is not from the richest part of Nigeria. He is from the poorest part of Nigeria. So where the richest man in the world came from, the poorest people in Nigeria, they also come from there. You see the irony of life? I thought the richest man in Nigeria should come from Lagos or come from Port Harcourt, where there is oil. The richest man in the world came from where you have the poorest people. The highest number of beggars are there. So from their midst, he came out. Why they settle in their own comfort zone. You know, begging is a good business. You don't have to do anything to make it in begging. No special skill. Just put your hand like this and ask. And stand anywhere. And you know Lagosians, even if your eyes is not blind, if you just close it. Lagosians are they are the nicest human being in the world. Your hand will full in 5 minutes. Free food. But it's a trap. Because those who are putting money in that hand, you can be like them too. But you have given an excuse. Some disabled people give excuse. They say it's because they are blind. It's because they have a problem with their leg. One of the best surgeons in Zaria, ABU Zaria, is a blind man. Best surgeon. He had every reason to give excuse and say, you see me too. But he decided to pursue his destiny. It is average people that gives excuse. Because they have all the reason in the world why this is not possible, why that is not possible. But today, you are delivered from excuses. The excuses you are giving that is keeping you small. The excuses you are giving that is making the devil thrive in your life. The excuses you are giving that is fueling mediocrity and destroying excellence. You are delivered from them. Please say a big amen.